So why do men take advantage of weak women? What do you think?
I think, first of all, we need to understand human nature. Y'all, we are born with a fallen human nature. I started off with a sermon years ago. I'm a dog. I admit it. I'm a dog. My daddy was a dog. My granddaddy was a dog. But oftentimes people think it's funny, that mentality. But the truth of the matter is, David said, "Behold, I was born in sin and shaped in iniquity." So that fallen nature is in everybody. And I believe that when it comes to a man, oftentimes the man is going to take that fallen nature as far as a woman will allow him to act out that fallen nature.
Definitely. I was also thinking too of how we come up. I remember being in kindergarten or first grade, and even deacons from the church would come up and be like, "Boy, how many girlfriends you got?" So I'm thinking, so you come up in this, like you said, that fallen nature of that, and so that becomes the DNA of a man as you come up, and so you're bred to hunt, right? So in the sense of that. So if I'm hunting on anything, of course I'm gonna look for, like a lion's I'm hungry. I'm not gonna look for the strongest animal that can fight me back. I'm gonna look for the weakest thing.
You're gonna go for the weak, and you're gonna take advantage of the weak.
Oh, of course.
And so I think one of the questions is, how do you know if the woman is the one?
Yes. Yep.
In my dating life, 30 plus years ago, because it's been a long time.
You still got it. I see your accent.
But my thing was, okay, if a woman kissed on the first date, I knew she was not the one.
Oh, hold on.
Because she was too easy.
Okay. Did you?
Did I try? You better believe it. I tried to kiss on the first date.
And see how she
responded. But if she responded and I know, hey, she ain't the one, but
somebody else could have tried that same thing.
And so I think it goes back to that week, you go after and so forth. And so just for the record, y'all, Miss Orr, Valerie, when I went in for Valerie, it was like, and we weren't even practicing social distancing then. It was like, okay, yeah.
So that's something. Whoever wrote that question in to think about, why do men take advantage of weak women? Maybe being reflective then of what standard. I know you kind of.
And let me just point this out too, because this was one of the other things we were talking about earlier. Even when it comes to your marriage, ladies, you are the one who sets the agenda in that home. You're the one. Peter is going to talk about Sarah, and Peter talks about Sarah being a meek and quiet spirit. Let me tell you, she may have had a meek and quiet spirit, but Sarah was calling the shots in that home. I mean, whatever Sarah said, Abraham jumped to it, even to the point, look, when Abraham complained to God, God is going to say, do what that woman say do. So you really set the standard. And I guess what I'm saying is, be a strong, spiritual, sure woman, and what you know, set the standard and hold that man accountable.
There's some nuggets. Some more. We got some more there.
I don't know if Valerie's watching or not.
Text us real quick. I want to see. How do you get past the old baggage? So, old relationships, so let's say they did kiss or they did do something else before on that first date. Now they're like, oh, now I'm tied to somebody before they passed. I'm trying to do better. I listen to the same. I'm coming Sunday. How do I get past old baggage that now I'm thinking, if he don't answer the phone, he gotta be cheating. Or if I see him out with somebody, oh, look at him talking to the lady at the church like that. Oh, he must be cheating because I have something before. How do you get past that old baggage?
Well, again, man shall leave his mother and father, cleave to his wife, and they become one flesh. So I think that's the pattern.
Okay.
There has to be that leaving. You have to get rid of that old baggage. You have to. That's why it's so important for us to make sure that we're spiritually healthy and whole as we enter into relationship. I like to use the analogy. I don't even know if they have them anymore, but the old cars used to have gaskets.
Oh yeah,
You know, the motor had a gasket, and when Daddy was changing out the oil or changing out, they had to put a new gasket, scrape the old gasket out, put the new gasket on, seal it, and put it down, or a leak was going to take place. And I think that's what happens in a relationship. You got to get past that old. There has to be that leaving, but then there's that cleaving, and that cleaving is when you come together, and this is where the honesty and openness, the transparency is so important, where you share not only your past, but you share your fears, share the frustration, share what it was in the past, that, you know, all of that stuff, so that there is no lingering stuff back there.
Yeah.
And then the last piece is that becoming one flesh. And I think that's that spiritual connected. Now we're headed in the same direction.
Ooh, you said a couple of nuggets there too of being honest. And I think nowadays too, especially folks who are dating, some people who are married have never really been honest enough today. Because if I'm truly honest with them, what if they don't like me? What if I tell them something, Pastor Orr, that I did this before in my past, and now they make judgment. So I hide behind, most of us hide behind some other, like we get done up so they don't see the real person behind it. How do you speak to somebody who's saying, oh, I want to be honest with him, but he might leave me, and it's cuffing season. It's going to get cold. It's about to get cold.
Hey,
what do you say?
I mean, look, if this is going to be a lifelong relationship, you need to make sure, I say it like Adam and Eve, they were naked and not ashamed. They were naked and not ashamed. So if the Lord can forgive us, cleanse us of all our unrighteousness, and now our slate is clean, and according to Psalms 103, he does not reward us according to our iniquities. You need a mate that has that same forgiving spirit. I will say this too, to my young ladies, to my young men, look, before you get the baggage, think now before you enter into the baggage. Pornography is such a big thing.
It's
now.
easy to get to.
Oh my goodness! And what is the thing with these young people where they take these sexting?
When you take a picture of something, you send it to anybody. Yeah.
Please, that will turn into baggage.
Yes.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't trust the man. I'm telling you. No. No. Even once you get married. No, don't even believe. Well, let's just make a film. Some things you just ought not to do.
Yeah, some people make those things, and so like the thing is, I think women sometimes are more forgiving. I think men sometimes it's because of it's just the way.
The double standard that men have.
We didn't create it.
It's in our nature. It's in our genes.
Yeah, we want to be forgiven for things that we won't forgive other people for. Sometimes.
That's the truth. It's the truth.
Sometimes. Okay, so I already get to the men. So how do the women in their lives operate in this area without being overbearing or nagging when knowing something is wrong? So I guess in terms of that question of if something's wrong, how do they communicate without being overbearing? Now you named all of them: overbearing, nagging, or just over talking and stepping out of the.
First Peter 3, y'all. 1 Peter 3, ladies, if any of you have a man that does not obey the word of God, live the life before them. As a matter of fact, I use L's. Don't lecture them. So don't come home from, the pastor preached this, the pastor preached, because now y'all getting mad at me.
Before you even meet him,
don't lecture him. Don't leave him. But what the Bible says is really you love him, you live the life before him. Use that positive enforcement. Oftentimes when you read the Bible, there is more positive encouragement from the Lord than the negative stuff. Point. You know what I'm saying? If you do this, I'm going to do this. If you do this, I'm going to do this. So there's a lot of positive reinforcement from the Lord. I believe that's his first offense to making things right with us. It's only when people start messing up, that he was saying, okay, now here's the other side of this. So this is the negative consequences.
Okay, yes, after doing that. Makes sense.
And ladies, hey, I think you need to do that as well. I preached in a sermon one time. I said, ladies, look, you don't have to, don't nag them. Here's what you do. Go in the bathroom, and on the bathroom vanity, you just write some numbers. Just write some numbers. Don't say anything to the man. Just write the numbers on the bathroom vanity. And you know, it might take him, a couple of days before he actually see it up there. Like, what are these numbers on the mirror? Now, when he asks you the number on the mirror, say, okay, this first number is the alimony you're going to owe me. This second number is the child support you're going to owe me. And look, hey, and this third number is my lawyer. and she doesn't like men at all. So just put it out there in a nice, simple way. I think he'll get the lesson.
I saw some numbers right here. Yeah. It's cheaper to keep us, so work that thing out, work it out, and get to that place that'll get you. A lot of questions here you guys had. It says, why do men shun away from loving their spouses out loud? It appears as though it's not very manly to speak positive to or of your spouse to others. It seems as if this man may look weak or low to be happy for his marriage. So it kind of goes on from there, but that's the basis of that. So I guess, why do men shun away? I guess this person here is asking, why do men shun away from loving their spouses out loud? I guess
it all depends on, what do they call this? This is the public display of affection. Is that right? PDA. In my son's school, they had a clause. It was a Christian school, so they had a clause: no PDA. No public display of affection. I think, again, husband and wives need to be on the same page as to, because oftentimes people are different. There's a great book about love language, 5 love languages.
You read my mind. I was going to say that if you didn't say that. I was just
and so love language says, you know what? We speak love in different ways. One of the love language is physical touch.
Hello.
And so if that person is a physical touch love language, then that person don't have a problem, when you're out in public wanting that spouse on their arm next to that spouse, and you're going to see them showing that physical affection toward that spouse. So I think you have to know the spouse love language, and then you have to speak that language. And if you need that, show that. One of the things I tell couples is, men especially, we need to show affection in public. When I was young in the pastorate, and let me just say this, oh my goodness, when I was young in the pastorate, I made the terrible mistakes in my sermon making jokes about Valerie.
Oh, that's me now with the comedy and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Oh my goodness! I remember making.
What was the response? How did she
remember? Well, I would make jokes like, her boiling water or can't cook and things of that nature. The people loved it.
Yeah, they would laugh.
But it was really tearing my wife down.
Gotcha.
Now this is why, I pastor a Black Baptist church, and it was strange, because when I flipped it and started complimenting my wife, do you not know members started saying he's talking too much about his wife?
Wow. So when it was something about her not
when it
cooking
was
or
negative,
something,
when it was negative, it was like, ah. But you start saying something positive, now folks are like, he needs to preach the word. you don't Black Baptist. He needs to preach the word. Stop talking about.
Just read off the script.
And that really opened my mind up. And so I tell young couples nowadays, look, guys, you make sure, according to Ephesians, let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth except that which is going to build up, edify, speak life to your mate. The power of life and death is in the tongue. And so whenever you speak, you make sure it is something positive. And so, that's the reason why now there is one word that have to come out of my mouth when it comes to Valerie. Yes. Yes.
Because of the thing before the past.
So when she said, I won't, yes. Yes, yes. But yeah, we need to love out loud.
Okay. Oh, that's good. That's a good thing. So then, I'm sorry. I'm going to try my best. Okay.
You need to take some flowers home. Dana, what do you want? What do you want? 2 carat, 3 carat? No. I hear what Dana is saying. I hear what Dana is saying. She wants some babysitting hours.
She's trying to pull something else out of it. So we'll see. Okay. This is from a man right here. It's a good question here. How does a man stay celibate in 2020 with a lot of women that are single coming after him? So how does a man in 2020 feels like must not be ugly, brother? So he's trying to stay celibate in 2020, growing his relationship with God, but
Well, I think that those spiritual disciplines are so important. And then it gets back to that again, guys. We just got to talking about baggage. So understand something. It's either God's way or the world's way. And the world's way will catch up with you. Let me say that again. The world's way will catch up with you. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Look, the book of Numbers, you can be sure that your sin will find you out. And here is the, and I hate to go here, but these days, whenever you have premarital sex, you're not just having sex with that person.
Watch out.
You're having sex with every person that person have had sex with. Now, and I don't know if we need to go through. But we need to be honest. I mean, with sexual transmitted diseases that are out there, with all of these things that are out there, you need to understand now it's not just about you and this person. It's about who have they been with and what are they bringing to the table. I think HIV and AIDS, and I'm going on some old numbers, but the highest age bracket among African American at one point was 18 to 25.
It still was last time I checked as well, so it hasn't changed.
So you're talking about a large group of individuals that are carrying, transmitting sexual transmitted diseases, and when you compromise yourself, it only takes one time. And here's the other side of this, because a lot of times people think, well, it's a baby. The baby is not always the byproduct of stepping outside of a relationship or having premarital sex. Sometimes you can get some of these diseases with short letters, short names, but with lifelong consequences.
Soul ties too, of like being connected, like you said, of naming those things. You're wondering why now it's tough for you to grow in that relationship, because now you're tied to so many different people and connected in so many different ways. You're like, I don't know why I can't just be content here, because you're tied in so many
entanglement.
Entanglement. The red table. Pull the red table out. Okay, cool. That's a good thing. Here's another question too. Is the man supposed to lead the relationship? I guess there's a woman here, she kind of goes on and says she feels like she is the quote unquote what the man role would be. And so she's asking always, is the man supposed to lead the relationship, or is it a time that
I believe the man is the head of the relationship. And so that's not a sexist remark. That's just a biblical truth. The man is the head. God created the man to be the head of the relationship. And that is why, as men, we have to do a better job training up these young people.
Yes.
We got to start with these, oh my goodness, when they're young.
Yeah.
Just teaching them whether it's responsibilities, teaching them about boundaries, about respect. So yes, the man is the head.
That's good. So there you go. So trying to work that through. She's maybe feeling that. Here's a question here that I don't think we had before. How does a woman build up trust after cheating on her spouse? So I guess that's revert. Typically, the question is the man having to build back up trust. Now, if it's the woman,
and we're seeing a lot more of that these days. I mean, oftentimes it used to be normally the man was the one stepping out. And nowadays, in this new era, you see a lot more women stepping out of the relationship. I think, but the building of trust is the same thing, y'all. I mean, when it comes back to building trust, it's going to take some time. It's going to take transparency. It's going to take
being honest, like you mentioned earlier, being completely honest, being able to share those things you see.
You know. Valerie knows all of my password. I know her password. Look, she knows my social security number. I know her. Matter of fact, we're in the same cloud.
Oh, okay, together. So it just all goes together.
Oh my goodness! So sometimes she'll text me, "What you just said?" That because even when you charge something, it pops up on her number. So
you're like, hold on, what's this? We didn't talk about. Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
So it pays to make sure that there is that openness and that honesty, that you are giving that person that opportunity to take the time to build back up that trust.
Okay. Single ladies, listen up closely. Why, this is a question from you all, I suppose, why do men approach women knowing they can't make the woman their wife? And it goes on, do they just expect us to settle for being strong alone? Or is there something that really makes them think everything will work out despite them not being able to uphold their end of the relationship? Woo. So Tyler Perry, that's a Tyler Perry.
That's a diary of an angry black woman.
We love you still share. Come on.
But again, ladies, look, when you meet a guy like that, I think you have to set the standard on the front end of the relationship. And I hate to put
the first date, is that on the phone? When is that? Because I get this question all the time too. Okay, I got it. I want to set the standard. How do I do that? Is it in conversation? Is it, okay, let me get them in first, then I can mold them the way I want to have them?
And see, now this is one of those times when I have to be honest with you. I'm so old. I don't even know what the millennials are doing these days. Look, back in the day, you had your friend of her friend ask her what she think, so there was the whole setup, whole setup before y'all even just. But these days, I guess y'all are speed dating.
Yeah, is people dating multiple people? So now it's like, well, we're not dating. I mean, we are. Yeah. You gotta eat. I gotta eat. So we're going out there. So now it's like, who even sets the thing of, okay, now we're officially dating? Like, who even names that to where you're vulnerable enough to say. That's what it is.
So earlier this morning, I referenced a book, and I think it is still out there in print. 101 questions to ask.
It's a good book. I have it
before engagement or something like that.
Yeah, I had the same book.
So 101 questions. So you need to begin to set this time of my life. What do I want this time to be? Do I want this time to be a time where I am, instead of, how do I say this? You might say 25 to 30, I don't want to get married. I think that was even one of our questions as well, is why do millennials put it off? But
it is.
But when are you ready to start thinking about seriously a relationship? Before then, hey, make sure that it's casual friendship. When you get ready to turn that circle, then you need to start looking, thinking, dating, even meeting people with a different mindset.
Yeah, I love how you name too being friends. I think sometimes that gets pushed aside because they're moving to third base and fourth base before you actually even become friends. And now you're like, okay, now we got to know each other now. It just becomes a tough.
It's like you go out on one date
and you're thinking,
and before the night, you know what I'm saying. So yeah,
courting, coding is what my grandma used to call it. Coding.
Who you coding?
Get a chance to know them or who they are.
But that friendship could be a powerful stage, because if you play that right, I think it's in that stage that you will actually run across the very one. Oh my goodness!
Time.
They
No, man, time goes by.
What's going on?
I'm like, we just started. Somebody's like, no, because that's my question. I want to hear. So yeah, so being able to get that point. I don't know how much time we have left at that point, but yeah, these are some good questions. And Pastor Orr, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. We have a podcast.
You're reaching down.
I'm
like, whoa, ERT.
No. So we have a podcast. It's called the Laugh, Learn, Love Podcast. We talk about some of the same things in relationships and whatnot too. If you enjoyed yourself tonight, we talk about a lot of these topics.
Okay.
We would love to have you on, Pastor Orr. Dana and I would love to have you on if you okay with that too. So yeah, so we're on YouTube too. They can sign on that too as well.
All right.
So
do I need to come on and counsel y'all, or just come on and just talk to other folks?
Same thing. So yeah, we have all topics stuff. We may need some too. We can always use a little something too. So yeah. So okay, cool. Do we have time for one more question? Or is it okay? Okay, cool. Let's see. Do men's attitudes change when they are in long-term relationships?
Oh, I think they do. Most definitely. Okay. You know, I like what Paul is going to say in Corinthians. When I was a child, I thought as a child. I acted like a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. So I think that in relationship, there is growth and maturity that happens in relationship. And you get to the point where you start discovering, is this a hill to die on? Some hills are not even a hill to die on. You know what I'm saying? So you stop sweating the small stuff. So I believe it gets better over time. Now, we're still human, we're still flesh, and so you have to always remain spiritual and feeding that spiritual man, because the devil is busy and temptation is real. Here's the thing, you know, with this pandemic, y'all, with this pandemic, here's what I saw in the pandemic. Everything started going social media. Well, you had folks that had not been on social media. Now, all of a sudden, they're on social media. And you know, my goodness, you get friend requests from everything.
Yeah, from it could be old girlfriends, old boyfriends.
Oh my goodness! Look, I never forget. Even some preacher was like, "I'm on social media, but I'm getting these friend requests." so look,
watch out.
You need to make sure. So that's why there is a what do they have it? Confirm.
Confirm
and reject.
Yeah,
what is it?
You might need to press the right button this time.
That's right. So before you hit that confirm button, you might need to click on their profile and see what it is. That's what I like about the public pages.
Yeah, well,
you don't even have to worry about.
They just follow you, and you don't have to worry about.
Right. You don't have to worry about
choosing
friends.
Click an ad. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. If we get to one last one. How does a couple discuss sex safely when they didn't grow up that way? I know this may be one to follow back up on, but this is something. How does a couple discuss sex safely if they didn't grow up talking about it? Like if their family didn't talk about it now, so they're married, they want to talk about it. How do they go about it?
You know what? The Bible has much to say about sex, and so I think as a healthy couple, especially a married, I hope this is a married couple,
it's a married,
that you're talking about. Go back to the Bible. Let's let the Bible be the place. And so whether it is Song of Solomon is in the Bible for a reason.
Go read it.
Don't just look at it. Oh, this is an allegory. No, that wasn't an allegory. That was, my goodness, it was two individuals in love, passionate love.
Hello.
And from the courtship all the way through. Proverbs chapter 5, for example, when it's talked about drinking water and being satisfied with the wife of your youth and allowing her breast to be captivated by her. So the Bible
it's right in here. That's in
it's right here in the book. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Yeah. So I hope y'all have picked up on some of those. Yeah. That might be y'all. Look, y'all might need some devotional. Look, have your quiet time.
You want that brother to come to Bible study?
Do some devotional in some of those places where you all can talk about in a safe spiritual environment what your desires are, and then how it is that each one can fulfill those desires. And I think that's what 1 Corinthians chapter 7,
Seven,
Paul is going to say, don't deprive the next person.
Watch out now.
And so you need to make sure that you all are on the same page when it comes to sexual desire, sexual fulfillment. Again, going back to sermons, my goodness, and I got 31 years.
you got a few of them in there.
I got a few sermons out there. But you know what? I'll never forget, in a sermon dealing with relationship, I talked about the fact that husband and wives ought to be on the same page, even in terms of how many times a week they have sex. If one person is thinking you need to have sex 7 times a week and the next person is thinking you need to have sex 1 time a week, that ain't.
We gotta come to some type.
That ain't gonna work, y'all. So how do you compromise? How do you get on the same page? Of course, one of my Baptist members, wrote me a letter about how dare you tell me how many times, but
What's that?
Hey, so but I did it from the Bible. So, but yeah.
That's something too. I know you probably get a lot of people trying, because if you have people on 2 different spectrums like that, how to find that knowing part. Something drink from your own dipper. That was the sermon. Right? Drink from your own dipper. Yeah. That'll preach. It did preach. Go back and somebody gonna look that sermon up after this.
Hey,
let me go back to
I don't even know if we were I don't even know if we were doing, if that was one of those archived messages or not, but yeah.
Go back. We need to put that on. That's going to be the most searched for a sermon now.
And I actually had a dipper.
That's what I figured you had.
I had a dipper.
I knew you had that to see. So, okay, good. Any more time? We got any more time left, or we good to? Okay. Oh, okay, cool. All right. I want to make. Okay. We had a couple other good ones here too, Pastor. Or a lot of these are good. I guess with somebody as a divorcee, one of the problems we have had as a couple was the lack of communication. What are some steps that men can use, or women, I guess I can put both sides because it could be the side, can use to effectively communicate with their mate? The men, y'all ain't gonna finna jump on all of us this time. It could be both sides. So if the man or the woman.
Well, and I kind of dealt with this one at 12 o'clock because just the mere fact that women have more words in their vocabulary bank than men.
They keep them on deck.
And so you need to understand we communicate differently, and so you need to know how to communicate. I like to think of communication like washing clothes.
Okay.
Like washing clothes.
Okay.
Now, brother, some of y'all don't wash clothes. Of course, I put some loads in last night. but when you wash clothes, you got to sort. So you can't just put everything and just no.
Some people are. That's why they had the pinks and the other colors.
Well, if you wash clothes right, you're gonna sort. So when it comes to communication, you need to be able to sort what you're going to talk about at what particular time, because everything just don't go together at the same time. So you need to know how to sort. Don't get on one of those deep conversations if this is going to be the romantic evening. You need to know how to sort.
Look out!
Don't talk about the Cowboys tonight. You need to know how to sort. But not only do you know how to sort, but when it comes to washing clothes, you got to choose the right cycle. The temperature. Some clothes work on cold, some clothes work in hot temperature, some are warm. So you need to know how to, on the right temperature. So that gets into that whole tone that you're going to use. And so what is the temperature that the conversation need to have? You don't need to be laughing about a serious conversation.
Because then it becomes disrespectful. Now you get to the whole.
Yeah. You don't respect my feelings. That's all you're doing. So hey, choose the right temperature. I mean, so all of those things, even right down to the right detergent. Everything that you got, you don't take Clorox and put it on colors.
Yeah, sure. You don't just pour it straight on there and thinking it's going to come out the way you think it'll come out.
So when I say communication is like sorting clothes, washing clothes, you got to take all of that into consideration.
Okay, for somebody who has a blended family in terms of co-parenting in those situations, and then the I'm gonna paraphrase this in terms of the mother of the child, right? So let's say the mother of the child is not in a relationship, but the man is now married in a relationship. How does he manage a relationship with his, I guess, the mother of his child and his wife at the same time?
Yeah. Blended family, and there is a whole, oh my goodness, the website. Smart Step Family. Y'all kind of Google that, but they have excellent resources when it comes to blended families, and I forget the author's name and so forth. But blended family is a totally different beast. When you know that that's the situation that you're going into, there is so much you need to take into consideration, all the way down to who disciplines which child and how they discipline.
Yes.
But and then even as it relates to baby mama drama, of just again, be on the up and up. You know, I mean, go into it upfront, transparent, making sure that everybody know each other, because you're gonna have to just co-parent together. And if you're dating somebody that cannot respect that, you might need to move on to somebody else, because you need to make sure that your spouse understand, I have some children. I'm going not only do I have the children, but I'm going to have to make sure that I am interacting with the parent of that child as well. And as believers, I believe we ought to be able to
definitely be able to talk
peace.
to, regardless of those things of the past, whatever, being able to talk through that as well. This was, Pastor, this was good. Like this, we could go on for a whole other thing. Y'all have some good questions.
Do I have Jeff every Wednesday, or is it going to be different guys?
This is, I think we got a good little thing going here.
Hey, you know, I'm trying to stay young, hanging out with these millennials, so I call it job security. But yeah, so check them out on their podcast, Laugh, Learn, Love podcast, Mr. and Mrs. Mr. Google that. Check them out.
Yep, we're on YouTube, all the audio ones as well. And we hope to have you on. This is, Pastor Orr, what we did today is what we like to talk about. And really, we get a lot of results from people.
Hey, these millennials, they might be they might be too much for me. I might go home and say, Valerie, the stuff that I like.
She in the phone, like, no. So,
but look, I appreciate y'all joining us for this virtual Bible study. It's Men's Month here at Brown all month long. And again, it's Wise Up, Own Up. So men stepping up to our responsibility, taking ownership of what it is that we're supposed to be doing as it relates to our faith. Last weekend, increase our faith as it relates to our family, improve our family. The third weekend, we're going to be looking at invest our finance. So how do we deal with our money? The fourth weekend is going to be Bishop Linwood Dillard.
All right.
And so looking forward to that great brother sharing with us all weekend on the fourth weekend. But God bless you. Look forward to seeing you. And one last thing, I don't know, is registration still open? I know this weekend we start back in-person worship. Registration is required. You can go to our website, brownbaptist.org, click under the coronavirus update, and the registration buttons are there. You must register. So, and we have limited seating capacity, but I'm looking forward to actually seeing some folks back in church. Now, let me just throw this out there. But if you're sick, if you're in one of those vulnerable classes, if there's any kind of risk, we still have the same offerings virtually. We'll be still doing the same thing. You won't be missing anything. Please stay at home, and but those they can still tune in and all that stuff. But for those who want to just take the precautions, and there are always risks with those precautions, we look forward to seeing you this weekend in worship. So
and vote too. Vote. Get out and vote. I know you said that in the sermon.
Get out and vote. Do that early voting. Mama was asking me even earlier. So make sure that you get out. Do the early voting, but especially on November the 3rd. God bless you. God keep you. Have a great night.